Welcome to the GoalZero Toolbox Talk series. Today's Toolbox Talk: Biohazards. Biohazards are materials or human waste that cause infections or diseases. If you work in areas with wastewater, medical waste, or live sewer lines, for example, you should assume that all surfaces are contaminated. Bacteria and viruses. Bacteria and viruses are the foundation of biohazards. This Toolbox Talk topic covers the characteristics of bacteria and viruses, how they can spread and what you can do to prevent contracting or spreading them. Signs of infection. Infections can be debilitating and, on occasion, deadly. Here are some common signs and symptoms of infection to watch out for. Face masks. Amidst the global pandemic, face masks have been a staple in helping minimize the spread of airborne transmitted diseases. Face masks come in a variety of levels of protection, sizes and material, and should not be used in place of respiratory protection for unhealthy concentrations of gases, vapors, or particulates. Hand washing. Hand washing is key to stopping the spread of germs and unwanted bacteria. However, it's important to remember that hand washing is only most effective when you follow these steps. Social distancing. The basic principles of social distancing, why it's effective and how you can substitute crowded, social activities for options that allow for distancing of at least 6 feet. Bloodborne pathogens. Bloodborne pathogens are viruses contracted through contact with another person's blood or bodily fluids. Before assisting someone who is ill or has an open wound, it's important to report the incident to a supervisor or someone who is appropriately equipped to handle contamination safely. Diseases transmitted from animals. While most of us have a soft spot for animals, remember that some, especially non-domestic animals, have a high potential for carrying diseases that can be transmitted to humans. If a person nearby were persistently coughing, sneezing, and sweating profusely, you would probably suspect they may be suffering from a potentially infectious disease such as the flu, especially if there has been a recent outbreak in your area. And as a result, you would probably take steps to avoid being near that person for fear of contracting the infectious agent that caused their suspected disease. You would probably, or at least hopefully, avoid being around other people if you yourself were exhibiting the signs and symptoms of a potentially infectious disease, so as to avoid infecting others. But what if you or someone else was carrying an infectious virus or bacterium that causes a contagious disease, but you, or they, showed absolutely no signs of having been infected? There are two different ways this could happen, and they both present a real dilemma in our efforts to prevent the spread of infection from one person to another. An asymptomatic person is someone who has contracted an infection and displays absolutely no signs of suffering from the infection. The signs and symptoms are so slight that infection is not suspected. Similarly, a person who is pre-symptomatic may have contracted an infectious disease that takes several days for signs or symptoms to be displayed, yet they can still spread the infection to other people during that interim period. Both types of individuals can be problematic in spreading infections to others.